Welcome back to the Mental Pit Stop podcast, where we tune your mind like a race car, one adjustment, one alignment, one lap at a time. Episode 8, Stay in Your Lane. Today's episode is one a lot of us probably need. I know myself over the years, definitely, maybe more than we likely want to admit. It's called Stay in Your Lane. Not because other people's lanes are bad, not because your lane is the only one that matters, but because you can't drive your best race when your eyes are glued to someone else's dashboard. This applies on the track, this applies in the military, it applies to streaming, content creation, and definitely applies to mental health. This episode will be deep, honest, comparisons, insecurity, doubt, and how we can eliminate some mental clutter and just stay in our lane. So the first part is the multi-lane highway of life. Life is like driving down a multi-lane highway. Every lane has someone in it. Some cars go faster than you, some are slower, some entered the road years before you. Some just merged in yesterday. But here's the truth. The speed of your car next to you does not determine the speed of your journey. Yet, we still fall into this trap every single day. Why am I not successful? Why isn't my career further along? Why am I not growing like them? We stop driving and we start judging. And that judgment becomes mental clutter. The noise in our head that doesn't belong there. The comparison pitfall. Comparison is a natural instinct. We're wired to do it. But I know for myself, it often gets me down. And I need to tell myself that this is not good. This is toxic mental health. It's like racing where you're consistently checking the rearview view mirror, the cars to your left, the cars to your right, the delta, the sector splits, everything except the road in front of you. You miss apexes, you brake late, you lose traction. Not because you're bad, but because you're not focusing on what actually matters. You can't hit your own line when your eyes are on everyone else's. Just a military experience. Why are they promoted, but I'm not? This one hits deep for me. You spend years serving, training, pushing, sacrifice. You put in the work, the hours, the deployments, the stress. Then someone else gets promoted. Somebody else that maybe you trained, which has happened in my case, somebody younger, somebody newer, somebody less experienced. And suddenly you're asking yourself, why not me? What did I do wrong? Do they not see my effort? Am I falling behind? Here's the truth military members almost never say out loud. Promotion is not the scoreboard of your worth. Rank is a role, a responsibility, a position in a system. What it isn't is a measure of your character, your resilience, your leadership, your sacrifice, your loyalty, and your heart. You and the person next to you are not even on the same track. Different postings, different leaders, different timing, different politics, different luck, and different challenges. You can't compare military careers like lap times. It's not even in the same race. And then I jump forward and think about my YouTube channel, content creating. We started at the same time. Why is their channel growing faster than mine? I think every creator feels this way. You grind, you stay up late editing, you put in effort for every stream, you improve your overlays, your thumbnails, your audio, you spend more money on better gear, you push through bad days and tired days, and you get it done. Someone who started at the exact same time as you is suddenly blowing up, going viral, getting sponsors, pulling 10 times your views, gaining subs like crazy. Your brain fires off, what am I doing wrong? Why are they ahead? Why isn't this happening for me? But here's the truth. I think that content creators never want to admit. No two creators have the same lane. A different style, different humor, niche, audience, certainly different personalities, a different editing style, a different schedule, time available, a different energy, different luck, different algorithm timing, and certainly different mental health. Someone else exploding does not mean you're failing. It doesn't erase your growth. It doesn't erase the community you're building. Slow growth means loyalty, a strong community roots, deeper connections, sustainability, and consistency, which is one thing I'm trying to work on. Anyone can go viral. Not everyone can build something that lasts. Your lane is valid. Your pace is valid. And then we go to another comparison in sim racing. Why am I not as fast as them? Let's put this right on the track. You load up a lobby, you enter a daily race, you watch the replays, you figure out what you're doing best, you tweak your rig and your pedals a little bit like I did yesterday to see why can't I do the things that they're doing. You run your laps, you stay clean, you study everything you can, and then someone comes in and they're 2 seconds faster. We all know 2 seconds in racing is like eternity. As you're doing the comparison, you think, why can't I get faster? What am I doing wrong? We started at the same time. Or maybe they just started 6 months ago and they're already faster. But sim racing, just like real life, has different starting points, different practice times, different setups, different experiences, different natural strengths. Your progress is still progress. Being fast isn't the point. Being your fastest is. Mental clutter, the real enemy. Comparison doesn't just distract you. It fills your mind with clutter. At least for me, it does. Anxiety, frustration, burnout, self-doubt, resentment, distraction, loss of motivation. And I think personally, that's why I've heard it by people that have been doing YouTube for years. Most people don't keep it up. They quit. Imagine racing with alarms going off, the radio chatter is nonstop, someone yelling instructions, warnings, flashing signs, distractions everywhere. I don't want to say the passenger is yelling instructions, but there's often distractions. You can't feel the car. You can't hear the engine. You can't sense the tires. These are all distractions that impact your mental health. And this is exactly what comparison does. When you clear the noise, you drive and live better. Now, as I said, this is something that I have certainly been working on from all things, not so much military, obviously now, as my career ends, but certainly with life, jobs, YouTube, racing. So here's a few things on how to stay in your lane. Focus on you, your improvement, your consistency, and your pace. I know in the coming up to my first year in Gran Turismo, I have improved a lot. Do I have a long ways to go? But it's my path, and I will focus on my path, nobody else's. Second one is measure success by process, not by outcome. Clean laps, small wins, tiny improvements. And I reflect this back to my race for the Gran Turismo World Series. I haven't done a lot of them. All I wanted to do is walk away with a better experience of racing at that level. And this morning, when I did the 100 laps at Deep Forest, something else I haven't done, I walked away with, I finished it. I learned I need to focus on better strategy. But at the end of the day, I finished it, and that's all that matters. Accept different timelines, whether it's your career, your channel growth, your mental health healing. Maybe you look and I compare sometimes myself to others, but I've realized that my growth is my growth. Everyone has different support. Everyone has a different level of courage to speak up, to be honest. Sometimes people take longer to get the help they need. And you're racing. Your skill, maybe there's some things that you've overlooked in your setup and you can't compare to others. The next one is pull back from comparison triggers. If you have to mute, avoid, take breaks, protect your peace. And I know when I'm at my point or maybe down a little bit, I'm like, oh, I just did a live stream and only had a couple people watch. It doesn't matter. Even if nobody watches, did it help me? Did I maybe just speak aloud and get some things off my chest or whatnot while I was streaming? Or will somebody watch it afterwards and say, hey, this really resonated with me during your live stream. I think I'll listen to one of your podcasts and maybe that will help. And the other one that I really focus on, as maybe some people can see it in the community, often people talk about my support in the community. And the next one is celebrate others without diminishing yourself. And I think that's one thing that I've always been kind of good at. I have no problem patting someone on the back, being proud of their success. I think when you look at it in a different light, I think it can impact you more. So for me, I'd rather look at somebody and say, good for you. You know, you started Gran Turismo 3 months ago and now you're A+. Well done. And, you know, we look at some of the young guys that are coming up and they're like, wow, you're already A+. Good for you. Different mindset, different skill level. It doesn't matter. You need to look at your path, your lane, and celebrate others without diminishing yourself. And the last one is trust your lane, even if it feels slow, even if it feels quiet, even if you don't see the results yet. Some lanes take longer than others, but they still get there. I think that's the part where, especially as some long marches that I had done, whether it was across the desert or whatnot, it's, you know, sometimes, as we've all heard, the slow and steady. And for me, with mental health, as I've put out some other videos, my first P1 win at Red Bull Ring as an A driver, you know, I talked about some of the mental health challenges that I face. And I think it's important that not everybody has that. Some people can jump into, whether it's starting a YouTube channel or start into Gran Turismo, and not have the mental clutter that I have, the ADHD, the PTSD, the anxiety, the depression. Although those aren't excuses, I'm just being honest with myself that those are things that impact me. And that's why I started this podcast, so I can share, talk about it, and maybe encourage others to see the same thing in themselves. So at the end of the day, you're not racing them, you're racing you. Their speed doesn't remove your worth. Their promotions don't erase your decades of service. Their growth doesn't wipe out your progress. Every lap you complete, the mental lap, the emotional lap, the personal lap, they all matter. You don't have to be the fastest, you just have to finish strong. So next time your mind says, why are they ahead? Why not me? What am I doing wrong? Tell yourself, eyes forward, hands steady, stay in your lane. Your race is yours. Nobody can run it better than you. So as I sign off for today, it's okay to say you're not okay. It's not weakness, it's honesty. It's the first step towards getting the help and the pit crew you need. You may drive in your own lane, but you never drive alone. In 2 weeks' time, episode 9, we'll be diving into the helmet comes off, being vulnerable, trusting others, and letting people see the real you. Why this often scares some people. Why we hide behind strength. Why we push people away when we need them most. And how taking off the helmet can finally let you breathe. So until next time, keep your wheels on the pavement, your mind in the race, and remember, the mental pit stop is always open. We'll see you next time.
I'm not a doctor, therapist, or mental health professional. I'm just sharing my story and the lessons I've learned along the way. If you're struggling, please reach out to a professional or someone you trust.
You don't have to carry the weight alone.